Look, in today's economy, being bored at work isn't a bad thing. It's stable jobs that are actually keeping people financially secure right now. And I'm about to show you 10 stable remote jobs that might be boring, but they pay over $30 an hour and almost never have layoffs. Why? Because these jobs solve real problems for real businesses. And speaking of real, let me be real with you for a second. When I graduated pharmacy school, everyone told me I had the most stable job possible. But then COVID hit and a lot of things happened in the world, and some pharmacist jobs went up and some went down. And in many cases, pharmacist jobs got replaced by automation. And that's when I realized that true stability comes from being essential, not just educated. And the jobs I'm about to show you, they're so essential that companies are desperate to fill them. And if you're new here, I help people land high-paying remote jobs without needing fancy degrees. And today I went through dozens of job boards to find positions that are fully remote, pay at least $30 an hour, and have extremely low layoff rates. So before we dive in, tap that like button if you want more videos about stable remote jobs, and let's jump in. First, we've got a trust and safety agent. And with this job, I want you to imagine that you're a digital bouncer for social media platforms. But instead of checking IDs at a club, you're gonna be keeping the internet safe while working from your couch. That's right, I'm talking about a trust and safety agent. Let me explain what that means. A trust and safety agent protects users and platforms by reviewing content, enforcing community guidelines, and identifying potential threats, basically serving as the internet security guard while working from home. And here's where it gets interesting. According to Glassdoor, a trust and safety agent earns between $61,000 and $112,000 a year. Now you might be thinking this requires years of experience, but here's what's really cool. Companies care more about your customer service skills than fancy degrees.
Don't you dare hang up on me!
The new girl's good.
A 4-year degree is just a plus, not a requirement. So let's break down these surprisingly simple requirements. Basic customer service experience, ability to follow guidelines, knowledge of social media, and an understanding of e-commerce. That's it. No crazy technical skills needed. Plus, you get some pretty sweet perks. A work from home setup, monthly food allowance, and even money to spend on their platform. Speaking of money, here's something that might surprise you. Companies like Meta, TikTok, and Google are paying between $90,000 and $169,000 per year for this role. And most don't even require a college degree. So what do they actually look for? It's pretty straightforward. Strong attention to detail, basic computer skills, good judgment, and the ability to follow guidelines. In essence, you're basically getting paid to keep social media platforms safe by reviewing content and enforcing community guidelines. Now here's some interesting insight I found. According to an article from Medium explaining the job, a trust and safety officer reviews existing product policies or community guidelines, since these provide good insights on the problems the company face. And here's the best part about this career path. Companies will sometimes provide full training. Most people start with entry-level content moderation and work their way up to trust and safety roles within a year. So yeah, this one is very solid. Next is going to be a quality control analyst for digital content. And speaking of high-paying tech jobs, did you know that big tech companies sometimes pay people up to $240,000 a year just to find bugs? Well, that's what being a quality control analyst for digital content is all about.
Let's do it. Let's bloody do it.
And if you don't believe me, here's a QA analyst role in Southern California that pays $240,000 a year in total compensation. And that's with just 3 years of experience. But here's what's really interesting. They actually took a pay cut from their developer role for less stress.
Pay cut, pay cut, pay cut.
And this isn't just one person's experience. I found another QA tester who said I was a manual QA, then automated QA, then web dev, and now I'm back to QA. The lower stress trade-off is 100% worth it. So there's less stress, and it's probably a little bit more boring than something like software developer. So what exactly do quality control analysts do? Well, let me break it down. They test software applications, they find and document bugs, they automate testing processes, they ensure user interfaces work properly, and they validate API functionality. Now let's talk money. The salary range when you start off is $53,000 to $84,000 a year for most positions. However, as I just showed a few seconds ago, you can absolutely make it to 6 figures and beyond. But here's the industry secret that I uncovered. I found a QA tester who revealed that knowing basic coding puts you way ahead. Now they said there's a lot of competent QA testers who don't know much about coding. So having dev experience gives you a massive advantage. Now, let me explain why this job is particularly future-proof. Every tech company needs QA. It absolutely can't be easily automated, which is a little bit ironic. There's growing demand in remote positions. There's low stress compared to development roles, and there's a clear career progression path. And here's what makes this role surprisingly accessible. The barrier to entry is actually quite reasonable. First of all, you need a basic understanding of software testing. You need attention to detail, you need problem-solving skills, and communication abilities. And here's the bottom line. While developers are getting laid off left and right, QA analysts are sleeping like babies with their job security intact. And the best part, you can start learning the basics today. I'll put some links to some really good resources to get started as a QA analyst down in the description and the pinned comment below. Some of them are free and some of them may be paid, but they're usually very reasonable. Next is going to be a legal proofreader. And speaking of attention to detail, do you want to know how one typo could cost a company millions? Well, making a typo in a court case can absolutely cost a company millions of dollars.
YOU_RE means you are.
So welcome to the world of legal proofreading, where catching a misplaced comma isn't just satisfying, it might be worth your entire salary. Now, let me share something interesting that I discovered. I found this experienced legal proofreader who shared their strategy for success. And their key advice: buy, read, and absorb the Blue Book and Chicago Manual of Style. Then proofread each document multiple times, focusing on different elements each round. So basically, mega detailed, extremely boring work. And probably not that many people want to do it, but that means there's less competition and it's most likely more stable. Now, let me break down what a legal proofreader actually handles. Patent applications, legal documentation, compliance standards, technical specifications, and format verification. And when it comes to compensation, the salary range is $46,000 to $72,000 a year. But here's the fascinating part. Judges and their clerks actively judge law firms based on document errors. Think about this. One misplaced comma could literally make or break $1 million case. So what do you need to succeed in this role? Well, let me break it down. An extremely sharp eye for detail, an understanding of legal terminology, knowledge of style guides, a methodical approach to review, and it helps to have basic understanding of patent law. Now, here's why this job is ridiculously stable. Companies always need patents, and AI can't reliably proofread legal documents. On top of that, remote work is increasingly common for this role, and an economic downturn doesn't really affect patent filings. Plus, the intellectual property industry is growing. And here's the best part. No law degree is required. Your attention to detail matters more than legal expertise. Now, speaking of job security, here's something interesting. While AI might be replacing a lot of jobs, it won't replace legal proofreaders anytime soon.
Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God.
After all, would you trust AI with a $1 million patent application? Probably not. Now, you might be enjoying some of these jobs, but you might also be thinking, how can I actually land the job? And I've created a brand new system that basically nobody else uses that's helped hundreds of people land jobs. And I go over exactly how that system works in this comprehensive guide called Never Job Hunt Again, 30 Days to a Killer Online Presence for Remote Professionals. And if you want to stop hunting for jobs and start attracting them instead, then check out the link in the description and the pinned comment down below. It's completely free, so you have to try it. Next is going to be a data manager. Now, imagine this. If watching paint dry had a corporate cousin, this would probably be it. But here's the twist. Paint drying doesn't pay $96,000 a year. But you know what does? The job of a data manager. And a professional data organizer put it perfectly. There's no end state in data management. It's like cleaning your room if your room keeps generating a mess while you clean it. So you can think of it like being a librarian for numbers. Let me paint you a picture. The books keep multiplying, someone's constantly misfilling them, the shelves rearrange themselves, and somehow the entire company depends on finding the right book instantly. Sounds like a pretty necessary and stable job. Now let's talk about the really interesting part, the salary. We're looking at $59,000 to $96,000 a year for essentially playing digital janitor. And let me tell you what skills you'll actually need for this role. The patience of a saint, the ability to stare at spreadsheets without losing your sanity, basic database knowledge, and an inexplicable love for organizing things. Now, here's the truth about this job. Companies need you to do it, but it might get boring. Why? Well, let me break it down. First, it's repetitive. Also, the work is never really done. And most people would rather watch grass grow. But every company desperately needs it. So listen, if you're the type of person who finds peace in organizing your sock drawer by color, length, and material, congratulations, you might have found your calling. Now here's the reality. In a world filled with exciting tech jobs, being a data manager is about as thrilling as watching a sloth take a nap. But when layoffs come around, guess who's still getting paid to alphabetize spreadsheets? And hey, if organizing data has caught your interest, you might want to level up even further. Check out the Google Data Analyst Professional Certificate. Coursera is having a special right now where it's a reduced price and there's 7 days completely free. And you can check out the Google Data Analyst Professional Certificate by clicking the link down in the description and the pinned comment below. I highly recommend Coursera. It's probably the best way for you to dip your toe and learn a subject and also get a certificate or certification in that subject so that companies actually respect your knowledge in the most affordable way possible. So don't miss out on it. It's down in the description in the pinned comment below. At least just click on it and check it out because you won't be disappointed. Next is going to be a benefits coordinator. And speaking of organizing things, ever wondered who's actually reading those 500-page benefits manuals that everyone else pretends to read? Well, meet the benefits coordinator, the person who gets paid $73,000 to know exactly which page talks about your dental insurance.
Page 394.
And let me share something interesting I discovered. I found this conversation between a veteran benefits coordinator and a newbie, where they shared some golden advice. It's basically customer service, but for internal employees. Excel skills matter, but empathy matters more. Great advice. So what do benefits coordinators actually do? Well, let me break it down. They answer endless questions about healthcare plans. They explain retirement benefits, sometimes to the same person 5 times. They manage vacation tracking. They pretend to be excited about open enrollment season. And they're everyone's best friend during benefits selection time. And the salary range? $51,000 to $73,000 a year for essentially being the office Wikipedia for benefits questions.
Maternity leave? You're a male.
Now, let me share the secret sauce for success. According to an experienced coordinator, here's what you need. Be a good listener and take detailed notes. Stay open to feedback. Master Google search because nobody knows everything. Learn Excel basics and develop the patience of a kindergarten teacher. And here's why this job is mind-numbingly stable. Companies always need benefits. Nobody else wants to learn this stuff. It can't be automated, and it's recession-proof because people get even more interested in benefits during tough times. And here's the truth. If you can handle explaining the same healthcare deductible concept 47 times with a smile while simultaneously organizing spreadsheets that would make an accountant cry, congratulations, you might have found your calling. Next is going to be a talent acquisition coordinator. Now, this next job is perfect if you love meeting new people. Welcome to talent acquisition coordination. We're juggling 27 interviews across 8 time zones is just another Tuesday. Let me share some real insights I found. I discovered this post from someone currently making $50,000 a year and about to transition to a $66,000 a year cybersecurity firm. And here's another interesting perspective. I found someone with 4 years of experience as a talent acquisition coordinator who's currently earning $110,000 a year in New York City. So what's fascinating is while the standard range is $51,000 to $72,000 a year according to Glassdoor, some are making significantly more. And let me break down what you'll actually do in this role. Play email ping pong with candidates, master the art of calendar management, become a professional ghost hunter for candidates who disappear, perfect your sorry for rescheduling email template, and navigate the endless sea of recruitment paperwork. Now, what does it take to succeed? Well, here's what you'll need. Organization skills that would make Marie Kondo jealous, the ability to send 500 emails without losing your soul, calendar management wizardry, the patience to handle last-minute cancellations, and a talent for herding cats, also known as hiring managers. And here's why this position is so stable. People always quit jobs. People always enter jobs. Companies always need new people. Someone needs to handle the chaos. Recruitment never stops, and this definitely can't be automated. Now here's the industry secret. Tech companies tend to pay way better, or just companies that tend to have more money like finance. And if you can handle being the human version of a scheduling algorithm while maintaining your sanity, this boring job might just be your ticket to stable employment. Plus, you'll probably be the first to know about layoffs, which means job security by insider information. Speaking of coordinating talent, let me coordinate some insights from you. Drop a comment below telling me which of these stable jobs caught your eye. Your feedback helps me to create more videos about the opportunities you're actually interested in, and also comment if there's one I should have put on this list that I didn't. It might make it into a future video because there's like tens of thousands of different jobs out there, so give me a break, come on. Next is going to be a document reviewer, and boy does that sound boring. Now, you know those people who actually read the terms and conditions?
You agree that Apple may charge your credit card for any products purchased in the iTunes store?
Well, they're now now making $79,000 a year doing basically the same thing. I'm talking about the job of document reviewer. And let me share something interesting I discovered. I found this document reviewer who perfectly summed up the job. 99% of my day is case reviews and calls. It's not extremely fascinating work, but I actually enjoy looking at different documentation styles. And what's particularly interesting is that they make $68,000 in a low cost of living area and bumped up to $77,000 after moving somewhere more expensive. Now, let me break down what this job actually entails. Here are the core responsibilities: reviewing legal or medical documents for accuracy, identifying compliance issues before they become problems, ensuring consistency across documentation, flagging potential liability issues, and maintaining quality control standards. Now, here's what makes this position particularly stable. Automation can't replace human judgment and context, regulatory requirements keep increasing and changing, remote work is becoming the norm, and every industry needs documentation review. Plus, the cost of errors far outweighs the reviewer's salaries. And here's the surprising part. The required skills are actually pretty basic. You need a strong attention to detail, basic industry knowledge, the ability to focus for long periods of time, good written communication skills, and an understanding of compliance standards. And the salary range is $51,000 to $79,000 a year. But here's what no one tells you. Many companies offer overtime opportunities, and you can often leverage remote work to earn big city salaries while living in low-cost areas. And here's the bottom line. The world is continuously innovating, and someone needs to make sure all the boring but critical details are perfect. And that someone makes a very stable living doing it. Next is a policy writer. And speaking of writing important documents, if you're that type of person who can explain complicated stuff in simpler terms, you should make money out of it.
The horse says, doctorate denied.
And you can. According to Glassdoor, a policy writer earns between $50,000 and $84,000 a year. And they do it all writing company policies while working from home in their pajamas. And let me share some valuable insight that I found. A policy expert revealed that you don't need PhD level knowledge of the field, you just need to understand enough to be an effective consumer of information and collaborate with experts. And they recommended starting with basic industry books to grasp fundamental concepts. So what do policy writers actually do? Well, let me break it down. They turn complex regulations into plain English. They create company handbooks that people actually understand. They update policies when laws change. They ensure consistency across documents. And they make boring stuff sound professional. And you can think of it like being a translator, but instead of converting between languages, you're converting legal jargon into human speak, complex procedures into step-by-step guides, expert knowledge into everyday language, and confusing rules into clear guidelines. And here's what makes this role particularly accessible. All you need is clear writing ability, a basic understanding of the industry, and common sense, which is rarer than you'd expect. And here's why this job is surprisingly stable. Companies always need policies. Remote work is standard for this position. Every industry needs policy writers, and it can't be effectively automated. And here's the reality. The job's not glamorous, but it's stable, remote, and it pays well. Plus, you'll never have to explain what you do at parties because people will stop asking as soon as you say policy writer. Now, just like a good policy writer needs to reach the right people, if you know someone who's tired of job insecurity, share this video with them. They might thank you later for showing them these stable opportunities. Next is going to be a product description writer. Now, here's an interesting one. If you can make socks sound sexy and convince people they need a premium potato peeler, then there's a $94,000 a year check waiting for you. And this is what a product description writer does, by the way. And I found this product description veteran who shared some golden insight. I've written for craft supplies, clothing brands, head shops, and major electronic retailers, and here's the secret. Bigger brands have stricter requirements, but they pay significantly better. And let me break down what you'll actually do in this role. You'll turn boring products into must-have items. You'll write 300 unique ways to say high quality, you'll make everyday items sound revolutionary, and you'll master the art of SEO-friendly fluff. Plus, you'll convince people that they need a premium version of something they already have. Now, what skills do you need to succeed? Here's the list. The ability to get excited about literally anything, creative ways to say good, a basic understanding of SEO or search engine optimization, a talent for stating the obvious elegantly, and an enthusiasm for describing USB cables. And here's what makes this role particularly stable. E-commerce keeps growing. Products always need descriptions, and it can't be effectively automated. AI descriptions sound too robotic. Plus, companies constantly launch new products, and remote work is pretty standard in these positions. Now, here's what makes this boring job beautiful. The salary range is $51,000 to $94,000 a year for essentially being a professional hype person for an inanimate object. Plus, you'll develop the superpower of making anything sound interesting.
All right, I'll take them.
They're probably worthless.
Probably.
Leave the telescope.
Now here's a pro tip from industry veterans. Target bigger brands. They might be pickier about requirements, but they pay substantially better and provide steady work for extended periods. And let's be real, tech jobs might be great, but someone needs to write 500 words about why this spatula is different from every other spatula ever made. Next is a data tagger. And speaking of detailed work, do you want to get paid $30 an hour to be as nitpicky as humanly possible? Where you can make money being obsessively detail-oriented.
Yes, 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 yes.
And let me share something interesting I discovered. I found this experienced data tagger who shared something fascinating about DAT, or Data Annotation Tech, which is one of the famous companies for this job. They pay the best in the industry, up to $30 an hour with no coding required. But here's the catch. They won't tell you if you're doing well or poorly. You'll either just stop getting projects or you start getting better ones. And let me break down what the job actually involves. Labeling images, videos, or text for AI training, being ridiculously precise with classifications, following strict tagging guidelines, maintaining consistent quality for hours, and teaching robots what things are, literally. Now, here's the golden rule they don't tell you. Quality is everything. As this tagger mentioned, take breaks when you need to. I'd rather make less money than ruin a good gig by turning into subpar work. And here's the exciting part. As you do quality work, the pay will definitely reward you, earning as much as $110,000 a year. Now, as you can imagine, this position is becoming more and more necessary as people are tagging different things for AI. And although it might be boring, it is definitely a necessary position as AI is becoming bigger and bigger. Now, let me share what personality traits you'll need to succeed. An obsessive attention to detail, logical thinking patterns, natural perfectionism, the ability to focus for long periods, and most importantly, comfort with repetitive tasks. And here's why the job is particularly stable. AI needs human tagged data to learn. It's one of the few things that can't be automated. There's growing demand in tech, remote work is standard, and unlimited work is available if you're good. But here's the bottom line. If you're the type of person who's been accused of being annoyingly perfectionist, this might just be the perfect career for you. And again, if you want to learn the basics of data, Coursera has lots of really amazing entry-level courses. Some of them are completely free and you can audit them. Others cost some money, but there is a 7-day free trial, which I'll put down in the description and the pinned comment below for you to check out. And even if you do have to pay, it's very affordable. And if you want 15 more examples of boring but realistic remote jobs that you can absolutely land without a college degree or previous experience in most cases, I did make a video on that and it went viral. People absolutely loved it. And you can check it out by clicking right here.